Greetings. It is Sunday, March 30th, and we are live. The plan today is to play some amount of Bastion. I'm guessing in the 1 to 1.5 hour range, so I'm uncertain.
Laura fell back, no doubt planning the next move, but we knew ours already.
And I have not played at all off stream. We already have plenty of crystals. What's this? Outhouse, that's new. Our 2 weapons are fully upgraded. Where are you? Okay. I'm pretty sure the outhouse is new. I'm surprised it doesn't do anything. Check our skills as well. Good to go.
There's something we had to do before going after that last shard.
Rescuing Zia. Zia detected. You are launched their assault on Bastion from this outpost. Zia must be here.
Zoltan's Hollow is the Ura's border blockade. At least it used to be.
Let's do it.
Well, now it's personal, ain't it? It's personal for him, and it's personal for me. They never saw him coming. He gets his hands on the care package I sent him. It's a little something I've been fixing up in my spare time.
What is this?
The Ura found a way to keep the calamity from spreading through Sultan's Hollow. They got their own security and everything. Pretty fancy, even.
Calamity spreading is an odd turn of phrase. I thought it was an explosion or something.
Still, they ain't used to having visitors around. They've got these conductors that are all what's keeping the place together. Break enough of those things and the calamity rocks slink back into the ground.
Leveled. +2 max health, okay. Oh, okay.
Well, the Ura must be in a panic right about now.
Okay, that might be the correct path, so let's go the other way.
Those rocks are like tumors, the same kind the Ura planted in the Bastion.
Excellent, let's swap back to our bow.
Kid's done using the Calamity's power for now, but the Ura ain't finished. They even sick their little rattletail pets on the kid.
I'm a huge fan of the Rattletails,
Those rodents are just a bump in the road.
but there are worse enemies that we've fought, certainly.
Kid's picking the whole place apart, piece by piece.
Okay, we've finished our achievement thing, whatever, for raising enough ground pieces. That's great. And we also got, I think, something burnt, which is galleon water. Okay. Cool.
Kid returns their greeting tenfold. By now, every Ura from here to the terminals must know he's in town. Most of the Ura's conductors are squared away in the middle of the hollow. It's not the time to get reckless.
What?
Those calamity rocks must be eating that place apart from the inside.
Oh, is that the thing that's spawning the... Yeah, that's okay.
The Ura keep hanging on to that barricade. After all, their homeland's not much farther.
This is another upgrade material. Our fire bellows are, I think, maxed out. Or they might be one short.
Maybe they know they've lost this. Lost to a kid.
Okay, if the narrator's talking there, let's go the other direction to see if we can get more stuff.
Some of them are downright bewildered by what's happening. They underestimated us. Had us pegged all wrong.
Excellent, successfully wiped out.
Yes, our people caused the calamity, but here we are trying to fix it.
Find the thing.
That makes us different from our people now, don't it?
One thing I'd really like them to do, what you have done, is to not have the narrator speak during combat sessions, since I'm paying attention to not dying and minimizing the damage I take, which means I am not paying attention to him.
Suppose old Zolf should have got to know us better. Maybe I should have trusted him. Told him everything I knew. Zolf, the Ura, they have every reason to be angry. Beyond angry. As the hour grows desperate, the Ura bring out their big guns.
So I'm not sure why the Ura have a right to be angry. Or at least, from their perspective, why they would have a right to be angry. So, given that no Ura were allowed to leave Bastion or the city, Rippling Walls? Solandia, that's her name. We're not allowed to leave Solandia. In theory, none of the Ura, other than the girl's father, Zia's father, would have known about the plan to be able to wipe out the Ura if there was ever another conflict.
There's nothing standing in his way no more.
So from an omniscient
He
perspective,
sees the Tazzle terminal.
it's certainly reasonable for them to want to do that, but they wouldn't have been omniscient or aware of it.
All those dreams snuffed out in the calamity. We'll bring them back.
To go the other direction, because it looks like this was the correct way. So I think as a player, you should be kind or understanding of the Ura, but I don't think from the Solandia perspective,
Under the bridge.
or Rux as the narrator perspective, you necessarily would be. Because the Ura shouldn't know, and therefore shouldn't have knowledge of a reason to take the action they took.
Way out there on the edge of the world. That's where he finally finds you. But it ain't like Prosper Bluff this time. Ain't nothing for this gal to sing about now. Zia, you weren't kidnapped. No, ma'am. You just had to see what happened to the Ura. To your own people. You had to see if everything Zolf wrote to you was true.
Asks you about the harp guitar. Pardon me, miss. Does this belong to you?
Sure you didn't drop that twangy thing on purpose? Just to see if he'd go after you?
Child's drawing. Shows you the simple drawing found to the far east. The Calamity took everything from the Aura, didn't it? Besides their will to fight.
They lost everything, didn't they? But they just keep on fighting like that's gonna bring it all back. Oh, his manners ain't so bad.
Show the simple drawing found to the east. It's one of the only traces left of the Aura
I
civilization.
don't need to see what happened to the Ura. I'm trying to undo it, remember?
You're good.
Once the kid gets that last shard from Zulf, it'll all be over.
Let's try the outhouse before we leave. Cool. Below 33% should never happen. Let's see if we can find
Part
something.
of the rippling walls floated by, so I caught the kid's old knapsack.
Okay, we can look at that afterwards. Maybe mentor meat. Or whale ale, and that could help us with the boss. We do that.
Now, whale ale ain't made from real whale, but it'll make you strong like one.
And this will presumably be another round-based combat.
It's hard to sleep easy these days, what with everything that's happened. Zulf, very soon the kid's gonna have to face that man again, for the last time. They met on the worst day of Zulf's life. There in the Hanging Gardens, he aimed to throw it all away. It wasn't the first time Zulf had nothing to lose. He was born to a simple Ura couple who didn't last long before plague took him. He grew up hungry in the tunnels of the Tassel terminals, so he took to stealing from a Ceylonian missionary living there.
Where is...
He once got sloppy with his thieving hands. The missionary caught him, but didn't rat him out. Instead, he offered to take him in. That missionary raised Zolf like a gentleman, like he was his own son. Taught him theology, history, and mercy. When the missionary passed away, Zolf promised to continue his work to bring about a lasting peace between the Ura and Zealandia. Zolf started teaching the missionaries wisdom to any Ura who would listen, and listen they did. He advocated tolerance and argued that the Ura should atone for the war. He believed the city had much to teach his people. However, Zolf felt he could only do so much in the Tassel terminals. He needed Ceylondia to know the Ura had changed. He decided to do what the missionary did many years before. He left the city of his youth to brave a savage land. The journey was hard, but he knew how to fend for himself. And then at last, Zolf saw the rippling walls on the horizon. He endeared himself to city folk straight away, and in turn he fell in love with the city and its people. One in particular. This young lady was fascinated by the Ura, but she never met anyone like Zolf. She told him she knew all the city's best-kept secrets. The Hanging Gardens was their favorite spot. It was there that Zolf clasped her
I don't
hands
think that would be
and
Zia.
proposed
There's no
to
reason why she
promise
would know all the
Saladin
best kept
style.
secrets.
He celebrated with his friends long into the night. Joy and revelry like he'd never seen. Too bad he couldn't remember it all.
Slavigon!
He woke up alone underground inside the Ura Celandian War Memorial, built like an Ura den. But something was wrong.
There are instincts.
He emerged from that hole in the ground into a waking nightmare. Everything that wasn't gone was twisted upside down. The world was frozen, air thick with ash. What few faces he saw on the street stared back at him with gray and vacant eyes.
Oh, there it is.
He found his wife-to-be asleep inside her home, but when he reached out to her,
More healing
she
potions, please.
joined with all the ashes in the sky. And so
You did.
Zolf
Okay,
returned to
thank
where he
goodness.
proposed in the Hanging Gardens. And there he stood, as if the gods would answer him.
Completed
The
each trip
kid's
to who
gonna
knows
be
where.
okay. As for that man, who knows?
Okay, so we know that Zolf did not start in Celandia. He started in the Aura place. Terminals or something. Twisting terminals? Whatever. And he wanted to mend relations between the Aura and the Celandians, and he came to Celandia to do that. It's sort of a missionary type thing. And it seems like that was going well, because I believe it said he endeared himself to the folks of Celandia. And it seems like he may have met a Celandian wife, and that was going great for him. And then I'm guessing the calamity happened. And again, I don't know that he would know that Celandia had been planning to wipe out the Aura if there was another conflict. Salt terminals, Zulf detected. He bides his time within the remains of the Aura's massive underground sprawl. Oh, Tazal terminals, okay. Not twisting.
The Tazzle terminals. All that's left of the Ura civilization. And the last stop on his little journey.
We're almost done. Once you enter this area, there's no returning back. Are you ready? Sure.
I can't hear him at all anymore. He's too far away. But he'll be all right. The calamity hit the Tazzle terminals hardest of all.
That's interesting. Because whatever Celandia was planning to do to destroy the Tazzle terminals, it did also destroy Celandia. So it's weird that it hit the Tazzle terminals
You know why
hardest of
Zulf
all.
back there.
Wait, did he say it left something back there? What was that? Sir? Please speak again.
The place was his home. All his old friends and family were there. Taken by the calamity. Zulf must be there all alone, just waiting.
Have to be there all alone if I'm being shot by people as I enter.
You know what's funny? Well,
Well, indeed, sir.
all of us are waiting for a kid. Look around. There's not much left to do here in the Bastion, I'm afraid. So why not tell each other stories to pass the time, right? But Zia, there's another reason I've been telling you all this. There's something I want you to understand. kid brings back that shard, the Bastion will be complete. This disease the air planted here will go away. What happens to Zolf will no longer matter.
Checking to see if there's any more combats before. Yeah. We're picking up those healing potions for XP. But it seems like 10 is a relatively incidental one.
Zealandia will be whole again. Everyone will be all right. Everything will be back to normal. Problem is, we'll all be gone.
What do you mean? Zolf returns to Tazal terminals with the shard to await the fall of Bastion.
Oh, we're not gonna die. It's more like all of this will just stop.
What do you mean?
Things will go back to the way they used to be. That's the power of the Bastion. This whole place is a living record of the times before the calamity. The way things were before this story.
There's health potion there. I'm just trying to progress to see what we've got as far as enemies before grabbing it. We cannot see what hopscotch is. Okay, so we've gained the ability to jump over stuff. In a future run, assuming I haven't played this game again, which I won't, that might allow us to get the spyglass much earlier, like the second or third map, instead of having to buy it. And possibly some shortcuts in
Be
other
your
maps as
old
well.
self again.
Let's clear out the boss arena of stuff.
Think of all those times that didn't go your way. setbacks. Imagine if you could have another go at them.
Oh, we're doing the thing where the world falls below. Okay.
No mistakes. Anyone you've ever hurt. Everything you've ever done.
Okay,
You
sure.
could do it over. And wouldn't that be grand? Wouldn't you
Always did
agree?
make me redo it.
Well,
Been really frustrating. Wait, where's Solf?
I guess there's nothing more to say.
Ah, Bastion.
Who am I kidding?
Good fight. I think you want me to jump off the edge there and platform across those things.
Look. There's something else. A confession.
Oh my goodness.
How come I know so much about the Bastion?
Thought you were the architect of the Bastion or whatever. Wow.
Well, I designed the place. But that's beside the point.
Okay. I don't see why that's beside the point. It's a fantastic reason to know a lot about them.
There's one problem with a place that sets things back to a bygone time. You can't test it.
Oh, I forgot to pick up the black potions for my skill abilities before leaving the previous platform. Unfortunate.
So you're probably wondering if the calamity happened already. What's to stop it from happening again after the Bastion does its thing?
I thought the Calamity was a design they had for killing the Aura. So if it's set it back... Depends on what's getting set back, really. If it's just setting back Zealandia, then there'd really be no reason for the thing to be set off. Since the Aura are mostly dead at this point, I think. It's also resetting the population. Well, if it's resetting the population of Zealandia, in addition to rebuilding it, there'd also be no need. If it's resetting the Tassel terminals without the Aura, implicit without the Zealandians in Zealandia, then also no reason. If it's resetting both, then sure, it could happen again. By both, I mean both Zealandia and Tassel terminals become repaired, and the populations of Zealandia and Tassel terminals are alive again.
The answer is... I don't know.
His father, Ven, documented his work for the Soladius Ministers in his journal, I guess. I guess his journal might be how Zulf learned.
It's all right. I can tell. But why would you even want another way?
That still wouldn't explain any of the Aura other than
Unless
Zulf
you
knowing.
wanted to stay here with us. Well, that's sweet and all, but I don't know if I can stick around.
Oh, hey, Bull. Are you friendly? You are neutral.
The weight of the calamity. It's on our shoulders.
What?
We can't just let it go.
Okay. Sure. Hey, what do you want?
Bastion does have another function, strictly speaking.
What is the other function, buddy? Am I supposed to be doing? We cannot jump anymore, so get out. Game, what do you want? Do you want me to just jump off the edge? Or walk off the edge? No, not allowed. And try walking down this. Nope. Not either.
If ever the monument blew out and we couldn't repair it, we could still evacuate. First, we'd round up as many folks as we could carry. Next, we'd detonate the cores, and we'd take off away from here. Of course, that would mean no going back.
I missed
Ever.
a thing.
But then again, that way all of us could leave the city together.
Bastion's auxiliary function was designed to enable mass evacuation of Soladius people.
You know Zulf and his countrymen won't be giving up that shard without a fight, don't you?
gone! Sing ace! Fast is up!
Zolf and the Ura. All they want now is to see the Bastion fall. Zolf dedicated his life to a lasting peace between the Ura and Zealandia. He can't have imagined the city would try to wipe the Ura out.
Technically, they didn't try to wipe them out. They prepared to be able to try to wipe them out if they were attacked again. Oh, okay, we can still reflect back even though we don't have our shield.
Zolf ain't lost every shred of decency though, has he? He tried to warn you about his plans. He tried to warn the kid.
Excuse me.
For Zolf, this ain't a personal matter. It ain't a simple matter of pride either.
See if there's another healing potion around here before we move on. It's unfortunate that they've decided to cinematically zoom the camera in, because it makes it so I can't easily see where the healing potions might have dropped, if any have dropped.
One thing's for sure, the Ura can't be happy that the kid followed Zolf all the way home.
So choose. Move on, abandon Zolf's body, and press forward with the battering ram. Zolf's situation is hopeless and a distraction. His plan to avenge the Ura only brought more suffering. All that matters is the safe return of the shard. Or take Zolf. Abandon the battering ram, and pick up Zolf's body instead. Zolf is badly injured but breathing. It appears his countrymen turned on him as their situation grew desperate. He nearly destroyed the Bastion. And yet... my temptation would be to take Zolf, I think. I'm relatively confident in our bow and machete to be able to fight. I don't like moving around with the battering ram either. And if we were not playing a video game, there's no reason we couldn't change this decision later and come back to take the battering ram if we needed it and leave Zolf behind. So I think that would be a correct choice. Though I do tend to agree that his decision to avenge what was effectively an aura detonating the large weapon of the Celandia, kind of silly. From the omniscient point of view, he is taking revenge on an aura decision, not the aura in general, but a specific auras. And there wasn't an immediate intention for Celandia to use the weapon against the aura. It was, as far as the narrator has told us, a backup plan in case Celandia was attacked again. So we'll take Zolf.
I can see it now. The kid in one corner, and Zolf in the other. Ain't much of a fight.
Where do you want me to go?
Don't you worry, though.
Thank you.
Once the Bastion's restored, it'll all be alright. You ain't still thinking about that whole leaving the city thing, are you?
You're defenseless unless we can drop him. Looks like we can't.
I set my sail, fly, the wind it will take me back to my home.
Wish I could see my health bar so I could time my heals more appropriately. Okay, so we can watch for the warning to heal. That might help us.
Making way for me. I'm coming
Do I think I'm supposed to die?
sweet home. I see
Well, maybe not.
your star, you left it burning.
Okay, those are being locked away. We just need to get to that yellow thing. We want to stay as far away from the edge as we can in hopes of not allowing those guys to trigger. Ow.
Eyes open wide, feel your heart and it's glowing.
Kid's probably dealt with Zolf by now.
I'm home, sweet home.
It reminds me of myself when I was his age. I ever tell you about those days?
The fate of the Bastion was out of his hands. Rux passed the time by telling Zia something. I think this is also poor game
Hey,
design,
kid.
which is assuming that your load screen, sorry, the loading time will be long enough to allow the user to read whatever your message is on the loading screen. Now, it's possible that that was true back in the hard drive days, but it seems like a weird thing to assume. And people might during the hard drive days, people might get up to do something during the loading screen as well. Some more modern games that have that sort of idea, which is we will give you actual additional information during loading screens. Just have it so that once the loading is done, the user presses a key to end the loading screen. So that no matter what you've been doing, you can read the loading stuff.
Get up, kid. Come on, that ain't funny. I say get up.
We are pressing all of our movement keys for reference. I don't know what happened to
That's
Zol.
more like it. Now, set that shard into the monument there. Then we'll talk. Can't believe you brought him back again. Bet you had to do more than say please this time.
Okay, so I guess Rux moved Zolf there, but didn't bother to move us.
The Bastion. It's finally finished.
I also don't see where Zia is, despite the
Now,
fact that a previous loading
there's
screen
something
said
I
she
want
did
you
come
to
back
see.
with us. In the Calamity, their solid terminals were ripped out of the underground and
Welcome
cast.
to the
Okay.
heart of the Bastion. I ain't one for long goodbyes, so here's the deal. Zia and I figure you done the heavy lifting, so you get to do the honors. We can tell you how to work this thing if you got any questions.
Thank you. Well, I'll take your information first, Mr. Rux.
Hey, kid. Don't let anything you've done get to you. You can save all those creatures here and now.
Okay. Marshal's badge. The Marshal's badge. At the end of their careers, the Marshals used to return their city
You've
their
got one
badges to the
thing
city.
left to do, so you hang on to that badge. Besides, you earned it.
Yes. Your sigil. Tell us what happened to Zolf. He never learned the whole truth, did he?
Zolf only brought more ruin to the Ura. No wonder they didn't take kindly to him.
I don't think that's fair. Zolf could have brought them. Zolf was not responsible at all for the Calamity, based on my understanding of the story. Zolf did break the thing and bring the shards to the Ura. Or bring something to the Ura. He broke our thing regardless. However, everything that happened afterwards is really the Ura's fault. Or at least isn't Zolf's fault. Since they could have sent somebody to return anything that he took and to apologize for the damage. But otherwise, there was no reason for us to go kill have to go killing the Ura. The Ura could have done whatever we did and bring us the shards or whatever. So I don't think Zolf is at all responsible for their downfall. He did give them information that we were weak after the Calamity that would have hurt the Ura as well. But their actions are their own. Ask about the Bastion's evacuation mode. If you could go anywhere, would you go back or somewhere else?
Always wondered what the motherland was like. Not that it matters anymore.
Restoration. Ask about the Bastion's restoration power. What will it feel like when the Bastion fixes everything?
You can undo the Calamity here and now. Go on, kid. And before I forget, thank you.
Thing is that we still don't know what undoing the Calamity
Just
does.
go with your gut. You'll do the right thing.
You made it.
Talk to Z about her harp guitar. Isn't there some moment in your life you wish you could go back to?
Any moment I'd want to live again happened after the Calamity, not before.
I don't think she was voiced until now. Tells you about her people. Oh, that's not going to go well. They were very brave, but there was nothing left for them but their revenge.
When I finally found my people, I told them we could help. They just took me for a traitor. Glad you showed up.
Sealed note tells you about what happened to Zolf. His own people turned on him when his plan to destroy the Bastion faltered.
Zolf tried to talk me into joining him. I tried to talk him out of it. I guess we both failed.
Asks you about the Bastion's evacuation mode. If you could go anywhere you wanted, where would you go?
If I could be any place I wanted, I'd stay right here. We could go anywhere in the world.
And lastly,
So, let's see. You can either prevent the Calamity, or stick around with me and Rux. I'd hate to be in your shoes. Ready to get this over with?
choose. Restoration. Initiate the Bastion's restoration protocol. Caution. This process will restore a previous world state and is irreversible. Use only as directed. Evacuation. Initiate the Bastion's evacuation protocol. Caution. This process will cause irreparable damage to the core receptacles, disabling the restoration protocol. I don't truly get it. Evacuation seems like the right choice. I'm interested in looking up to see what the endings are at this point, which I think I will do. So the outcomes, according to a wiki. So restoration, if the player chooses to restore the old world, the story ends with an enigmatic declaration. I'll see you in the next one. And evacuation. Oh mother. Doesn't summarize it. I'm currently reading off the wiki what text it gives us. And I'm reading in my head. Interesting. So evacuation, we, I guess, depart and explore. Okay, so if we choose restoration, I'm going to read through the text, because I don't think this is the optional choose. Rux will say, "It's finished. Now sit tight. It'll soon be over. No matter what happens next, you've done good. I suppose all that's left is trying to remember this moment. The Bastion's going to take us back to a better time, before any of this. Might be we'll forget everything you've done, and each other. Though after all we've been through, I find that hard to believe. So long, kid. Maybe I'll see you in the next one. So long to you, we're coming home." So it seems to be this might be time travel-ish. Which I guess is consistent with previous world state. And the text implies that we will lose our memories, given that Rux says we might not remember any of this. Okay, so in theory, if we restore a real previous world state, and we don't retain our memories, then there is nothing that we could do to change what would happen afterwards. And presumably, everybody would do the same thing again, depending on how you view time travel. If you believe there is true randomness, then technically we could get a different outcome. Otherwise, if you don't believe in true randomness, then the same thing would happen again, effectively guaranteed. And at worst, we would have to go through all of this again, and could make the same choice a second time. If that's the case, I think this is the most correct option. Just because in theory we could make this choice again. Everything would happen the exact same way, and we could make the choice again. Absent true randomness. present true randomness, everything would happen again the exact same way, and we'd be here again. With true randomness, we might not have the calamity a second time at all, because people might make different decisions. And alternatively, we could simply move on and explore, I guess, the world. And we don't know if there's anybody else in there, at least from my reading of the evacuation text. Choose evacuation. Complete the story embracing the new world.
Oh, mother. And here I figured you'd had enough of me by now.
Hey, Chalker.
You could have undone the calamity itself. But instead you want to stay in a world like this. I gotta admit, kid, I ain't yet put much thought in that idea of carrying on with you here.
Not much, just finishing the game.
We can't go back no more,
How are you?
but I suppose we could go wherever we please. And if anyone's left out there, I sure would like to see the look on their faces when we dock this thing right on that doorstep. Getting ahead of myself, though. I'm gonna need a first mate.
The objectively correct answer, fair
What do you
enough.
say?
I set myself fly, the wind it will take me back to my home, sweet.
And it's the reason that you think it is subjectively correct because the exact same stuff would all happen again as it was, because a previous world state would result in all the exact same choices being made by the same people? Or is it more of an idea that one should move forward instead of trying to change the past? Fair enough. That is so true. So one thing that I still don't entirely understand is how much Zulf knew. And that's in part because I'm failing to remember the chronology of when we showed the diary to Zia versus when Zulf left. And I also don't know if Zia would have told Zulf about the contents, given that Zia never spoke to us, sort of. We definitely never heard her voice before. Because I'm not sure that all of Zulf's actions make a lot of sense. Because I don't think he would have known the contents of the journal of Zia's father. I'm just wishing that I recalled when those different events occurred. And if the story ever told us that she told him about the contents or showed it to him. Otherwise, an enjoyable story. You're hazing on it as well. Fair enough. sort of reminded, so to relate it to the current world, it would be something like developing a nuclear weapon as a defensive thing, would be what Celandia was doing. At least that's my understanding of how the story went, which is that they had fought previously, the Ura and Celandians, and Zia's father was part of the people working on developing their nuke-type weapon. But as far as I understood from the story, they only intended to use it if they were attacked again. Like, there's nothing that I got from the story where they were thinking, okay, we can just end this potential threat now. It was just, if we're attacked again, we will use it to wipe them out. And as an observer, I'm not sure it's reasonable to attack them to try to kill them because they're building this defensive thing. Though it's certainly reasonable to fear that they might change their mind and try to wipe you out. So there's that. And that's definitely an attitude that much of the Western world has taken towards other countries developing nuclear weapons. Both initially when they tried to get them to give them up, and we've seen the result of that for some of them, and also in attacking some of the Middle Eastern countries that are trying to work on developing nuclear weapons. So it's very interesting. I can't really blame the Ura for trying to destroy it. Though the fact that I can't blame them doesn't mean it's necessarily agree with the decision. Yep, agreed. Very interesting story. I appreciate also that they didn't directly relate it to the real world. As I found in a lot of modern storytelling. I'm thinking Star Trek, for example. Like, okay, we want to do an allegory to things that have happened in the real world. But we're not smart enough, so we're just going to time travel to the real world. And show you the thing that you've already seen. Instead of seeing some things that's tangentially related if you think about it. Which is more what the older Star Trek would do. I like this method a lot better. Thank you for playing. New Game Plus mode unlocked. Look for New Game Plus in the story menu. Begin your journey with all your weapons and experience. New shrine idols and distilled spirits added. Okay, that makes more sense. Since I never got a ton of different shrine idols, all I got were negative ones. I'm guessing there's might be some as well that also make the game more fun. Like give you new combat stuff. Shadow Tolkien is this case from... Yes. It just needs some subtlety. I need them to not say... I need them to not in the story point towards the real world thing that they're trying to teach you a lesson about. Just give the watcher or reader the most basic assumption of intelligence. That they can see the link if they are interested in thinking about the link. All Bastion structures buildable in any order, and use the shrine for the toughest challenge. Indeed. Trust we can apply some critical thinking. And I'd say that the people that don't apply the critical thinking probably wouldn't have gotten a lot out of you pointing it out anyway. It's not even losing much by not being direct. So very positive about the story. Again, that minor issue about what information Zulf had and when. Gameplay I generally didn't enjoy. I'm glad we're on the same page. I don't like ARPGs in general. I don't find their gameplay very fun, so it wasn't shocking to me that I didn't like the gameplay of this game. There was a point where I chose to grind for crystals so that I could use my upgrades. I wish I'd gotten enough crystals that I never had to do that, or needed to keep an upgrade sitting around in order to progress, especially since I only ever invested really in the 2 weapons. So it feels like, given that choice, I shouldn't have ever had a crystal shortage. By the end, we definitely had a ton of spare crystals. I could have upgraded, I think, 2 weapons probably to max level without having to grind any more. And I only grinded, I think, around 2,000-ish of those crystals. So it's possible we could have gotten 2 more weapons upgraded even without the grinding, if I'd just been patient. But it definitely annoyed me, which caused me to do the grinding, that I could not keep up my weapon upgrades with the upgrade material I got. I also had to go... I didn't have enough crystals at the time, despite the fact that I wasn't spending them on anything else. Or much else. Like, we would have seen in the shop that I had a lot left over that I could have bought and did not. And maybe I just have a different perspective on that than other game developers, because I've been seeing that in several games. Like when I played Atlas Fallen, not on stream. I wouldn't have been able to experiment as much as I wanted to with things other than my core build choices, because I didn't have enough experience, crystals, whatever the equivalent is. And if the game developers disagree, I think they're just wrong. They already have that material system that slows down your progress. There's no need to slow it down with another system. Transistor. I feel like I might own that, though I've definitely never played it. I know I've heard of it. I do not own it. We are currently in Steam, so the game will be... I think the game pauses itself entirely. You don't hear audio either. Yeah, it pauses entirely. Transistor. What is... Oh, no. This is another... I don't think I'm up for it right now. Yeah, it looks like a similar perspective. And this isn't a perspective I enjoy controlling or playing. Well, I don't enjoy controlling it, therefore I don't enjoy playing it. I will keep it in mind, but not right now. I want to play a game where I'm going to enjoy the gameplay. This was definitely a middle part where Bastion was like, I don't want to play the game. I want to see the story, but boy do I not want to have to control it. What's next? That's a good question. I was thinking maybe Prince of Persia: Sands of Time. But I need to see if it actually runs properly and how it works on PC. Since I have it, but I've not tried it. Another possibility I was thinking of was Remember Me, which I've also owned for a while and been thinking of playing, and is also old. So Prince of Persia I have played in the past on, I think, PlayStation 2, or it might have been the Xbox. Either way, I've played it on console. The other one is Remember Me, which I have not played before. So I don't know if I'll enjoy the combat or not. Certainly hoping so. They're both relatively old games. Don't know how accurate Steam's page will be if I go to your store page. So Steam says Remember Me is 2013. And Sands of Time would have been ancient. 2003, yeah. So unsure. I'll figure that out off stream. I'm leaning more towards Remember Me right now, just because it's something that I won't have played before. I don't know a lot about it either, so it will be a learning experience. Can't recall why I chose to get it. I know I play a lot of female protagonist games. That could have been part of the reason. Otherwise, I think it was just like a semi-openish world, maybe? At least by the screenshots. And I certainly would have got it on sale or possibly through Humble Bundle. It looks like we have some sort of superpowers and stuff, so it could be neat. Yeah, let's do that. Remember Me will be next. I also got a Souls-like today that I'll probably play after that. Thymesia. Thymesia. It was on significant sale, like $10. That could be fun. And it's supposed to be relatively short as well. Something like, I think it was 8-ish hours to complete. Love me a Souls-like-ish type. I think it fully buys into the Souls-like thing. I'm not sure how much new stuff it has. But that's fine. There's nothing wrong with cloning a good thing. My hope as always will be that it chooses to tell a more straightforward story, like some other Souls-likes do. Heavenly Sword. No, I've not heard of that. Doesn't appear to be on Steam. Oh, I never owned a PlayStation 3. Really, is it a Souls-like or is it just a third-person action game? Since the PS3 would have been before Souls, wouldn't it? God of War, okay, cool. I've also not played God of War, though I've seen the modern gameplay, as well as short clips of older God of Wars pre-2018. I love redheads. Though I've also played Prince of Persia Warrior Within, which I guess would have been very similar to the God of War game. Where you were, because you had less of a time rewind thing, it was more combat. At least that's my recollection of Prince of Persia Warrior Within. Interesting. I had read good things about the plot of God of War 20... Well, less so 2018 and more so Ragnarok's the sequel to it. But I would have assumed that if people thought this plot of Ragnarok was good, then they would have thought the plot of 2018 was good. But I've not played either. And having watched a breakdown of Ragnarok, I don't think I would bother to play either of them, since I've seen enough of the story that I probably wouldn't be all that interested. Fair enough to be picky. I think playing, at least for me, I can't speak for others, of course, but for me, I'm more willing to play a game whose gameplay I dislike for a story that I think is good, than to play a game whose gameplay I enjoy but whose story I find miserable. Now, if the story is just mediocre, I can generally get over that if the gameplay is good. But if the story is just actively aggravating to participate in, then it's really hard to play. Between the gameplay and the Valkyries 2018 is worth it. Oh no. Okay. They actually look cool, not ridiculously sexualized. That's nice. I think the thing I found coolest in the breakdown that I watched of Ragnarok was the oracles. I thought that was handled really interestingly. Are the Valkyrie fights on the ground, or are you like climbing them as they fly around? I guess you don't have the whip thing anymore in the more modern God of Wars, so they must be on the ground. At least certain Valkyries you can do some flying, but you generally take them in one or another shape. Yeah, you're on the ground. Cool. That makes sense. Okay, I think I am done for the night. I will see if Remember Me starts up and if there's any mods that will make it so it runs well, if it's not running well already. I know older games sometimes require a bit of finesse and assistance from the random old internet posts of people making them work. So introduce you to their different abilities in a way that doesn't feel too terrible. Oh, that's nice. Yeah. It's something that I think World of Warcraft was the first game where I noticed it, where at least sometimes they would have the trash mobs show you abilities that the bosses would later use, either exactly the same or a slightly modified version of. So you could train sort of in a lower stakes environment, which was good. I've noticed some games do that since then, but I think that was the one where I first noticed it. Good game design. Exactly. Since even the trash fights were at least required your attention, and you could die. I think that's generally the best way to do it. Yeah, that's it for the evening. So if you've been watching live or in VOD, thank you for your interest and have a wonderful night. Bye.